flaming pile of garbage or just a regular old pile of garbage? We'll talk about it. Jamie?
Okay.
Let's go watch BMX Bandits. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. We are an 80s movie podcast where every other week we watch a movie from the 80s and then we talk about that movie. My name is Doug McCambridge. I'm one of the two hosts. With me, as always, is Jamie Lorello. Jamie, you're wearing a helmet and a face mask.
Very, very dangerous sport with your push bike. Yeah, that's the mask. The mask was a bit intimidating, yeah? The helmet I get. You should wear a bike helmet, when you're biking and doing these BMX-y tricks. But the face mask. I don't know.
I kind of thought they put the face mask on so it would obscure their face so you couldn't see that there were stunt doubles riding. But, the masks were only in the opening scene, right? Mm-hmm. And all their helmets had their names on the back, which was ridiculous.
Where do you know their names? Do you remember their names?
Well, there was PJ.
Yeah.
And she was Judy.
Yes, she's Judy.
Oh, what's the other kid's name? Like Banana Peel or something stupid?
It was a goofy named Goose.
Goose. That's not that goofy. It's Anthony Edwards in Top Gun.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a very good sidekicky kind of name. Did you happen to catch the villains' names? Because I did not in the notes. But then I looked on IMDb.
Because the whole time I wrote notes, like I write the cast before I watch it. Just to have all that stuff done.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, our main character, one of these kids, must be named Whitey, and the other guy's name is Mustache. And I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, these kids are not named Whitey and Mustache. Who are these people? And I didn't know it was the Wet Bandit-esque crooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad guys. Terrible bad guy names. And they were terrible bad guys.
They were... This movie.
No, please.
This movie...
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I had a different movie picked out before this one.
Oh,
and I thought it was a different Nicole Kidman movie. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what, that movie seems too legitimate. And I heard that this one is fun and super goofy. And I knew kids growing up that loved this movie. Those people are idiots. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry, people I grew up with. I don't get it.
I did take a minute. Now, like I said, I watched it in two parts. And I did take a minute with this movie and think, maybe at the right time in your life, if you saw this and you connected with it because it had the goofy humor, or because you're into BMX biking, or because you liked bright colors and coordinated outfits, I don't know, but maybe there's some reason that this movie strikes a chord with you, right? I could see it because it's so.
When you're a kid, you'll watch anything. Like, movies are great.
Yeah, and even the goofiness that was that, and maybe you just liked it for the Australian accent. I was almost hooked for a scene. No, I can't even say that long. But
what scene? The opening scene, or after an hour and a half, it hooked you again?
No, it was. Oh, I have to walk us through this, huh?
I understand that there is nostalgia for these movies, but that is the only way you can enjoy this.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
I mean, I don't even think you could like this in an ironic sense, because I can't see watching it again. So
clearly we both know how we feel about this movie. I think that's a wrap, everybody. I think you kind of understand. This movie sickened us so much, I don't even think we want to talk about it. No.
I don't.
No, we need to, because I think there's a lot to be said.
And Jamie, you call this a movie. I'm not even sure that's what this is.
It's just kind of random BMX footage put together with bad bank robberies.
I used to think I knew what a movie was, but this completely contradicted that. All right, before we get into the movie, we do have to announce, because last time we did talk about the fact that we were looking for franchises, and I was...
Great response,
All I did, I just said, hey... I put it on Facebook or something, and I said, hey, are there any 80s franchises that had more than 3 movies, or 3 or more?
Okay.
People gave us 12.
Wow.
I counted at the end, 12 different ones.
Nice.
That were, I mean, some were really obscure, but you and I had to narrow that 12 down, and we've decided to go with 4 that then everyone can go on and vote for.
Yeah, then we'll do our vote.
And once we choose the franchise... then everyone can vote for the specific movie in that franchise.
See how democratic we are?
This is quite the process.
This is.
That's right.
This is nice. I like it.
So the ones we chose, Jamie, you picked 2, I picked 2. They don't need to know which ones we chose.
No, they just need to know.
That's right, in alphabetical order.
Oh, A, B, C.
Well, if there's only 4, I can do that. Although when it came to I and K, I literally had to go through the alphabet, so I
Sometimes
knew
you do.
which
Sometimes
was
you just got to do it through it. Yeah.
Well, that's a confusing part of the alphabet for me.
Elemental P can be confusing too because it all kind of lumps together. So that could be a little.
Yeah, I mean,
we're basic. You know what, audience? We are basic people. We're just trying to get ourselves through the alphabet. Let alone this BMX Bandits movie.
I don't have time for BMX. Those letters aren't even near each other in the alphabet. At least that is in alphabetical order, though. All right, so our franchises are Cannonball Run, which I didn't even know had a 3rd movie, but it does.
Oh.
Indiana Jones.
Oh, good one.
Karate Kid.
Yeah.
And the Rambo series. And folks, I think you'd be pretty surprised who chose what here. Because when I asked you to pick 2 of that 12, Jamie, I kind of had an idea of what you were choosing. Nope, not even close. No. I was like, what?
Good. I like keeping you on your toes. All right.
Yeah, so I will be reaching out on social media to people and putting up polls and stuff like that. And then with our next episode, we'll tell you which franchise won, and then everyone else can pick the movie.
Yeah. This is nice. I like this. And
it's a process.
It is, but it's worth it, right? It helps. It lets our audience be very much a part of the investigative work that we do here. Because we don't just pick a movie. Like, please, can you tell us why we watched this movie?
We watched this movie because I had chosen another Nicole Kidman movie. And I forget why I chose that
You thought this one sounded? Yeah,
no, because then I said, oh no, I have to pick a different one, and I have to find a way to justify BMX Bandits. So through my research, I found out that this day, like, the BMX Federation was founded in 1981.
Okay.
So it worked out.
I like this.
I'm not going to say wonderfully because
it really
kind of a horrible mistake.
Yeah, it really kind of hurts a little bit, but that's okay. Sometimes you win some, you lose some when we do this podcast.
And I don't even know why I was so set on a Nicole Kidman movie. I'm not a big Nicole Kidman fan.
I'm not a Nicole Kidman fan necessarily
either. And this
either.
movie made me wonder why she even exists.
Well, she's one of the better roles in this movie. I
guess this is sort of a story of triumph. Like, even if you do some terrible things in your life, you can rise above that and become something.
Well, I don't know if
this was her first movie.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like, as an actress. I thought you meant the characters. Because I don't know if Whitey and Mustache rose above anything.
I don't think anybody did.
Okay. So,
I don't think anybody got out of this movie except Nicole Kidman.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I guess hard work and keep on keeping on can really take you places, right?
Somebody must have seen something in her performance and said, she's
magic. Now, did she do her own stunts? Do we know her BMX background?
Clearly. Did you see the muscles on that dude
oh, yeah.
that is riding the bike in that Nicole Kidman wig?
There is. When you look at the credits at the end, the stunt doubles it's just 2 guys listed. There's not a girl stunt double.
I'm surprised you watched the credits.
Well,
the moment there was a freeze frame, I shut this thing off and burned my computer.
Oh, BMX Bandits. It was a 1982?
3.
Okay.
You're already doing a great job walking us.
The accuracy is going to be really notable. Yeah. Did you notice the soundtrack in this movie? Like, so what was this movie? Was it supposed to be an action movie, like a BMX bike movie? Was it supposed to be a goofball comedy? Because at times it was very slapstick. Was it supposed to be a bit horror, like the soundtrack made it seem?
I don't know. I do have to tell you that the cemetery parts were the best parts of this movie.
But like the giant fence they had.
Yeah, they were shot well. The lighting was good. Mm-hmm. It was kind of intense. It seemed very out of place when taken into context. I mean, a movie called BMX Bandits should not have a 20-minute scene of them running around a cemetery at night.
A lot of the scenes went way too long, let's be real. Like, every time anything happened, it went on for way too long. I was like,
Jamie,
okay.
I wasn't about to time it, but I looked it up. That one bike car chase was 17 minutes long.
Wait, were the bad guys changed cars at one point? Don't they like switch into a different car?
Yes, and this is when they go on the water slide and everything. 17 minutes.
And you don't even understand where they're going. Well, no, because
they don't go anywhere. And I thought the movie was over. I was like, this must be the big chase scene at the end of the movie. And I looked, I'm like, there's a half hour left.
Yeah. I think that's around the time I gave up, but I was like, I can't do any more of this till tomorrow. I don't want to know what they're going to do. And I'm glad, because it saved my energy for the BMX rally, the rally of all the BMXers that they get underway. Like, all of a sudden they know every BMXer in town.
Why do they flower?
I don't know. I don't understand anything about this movie. Even the plot confuses me. Okay,
so snooty guy sitting at a restaurant does get a pie in the face at one point, and I went, that totally makes sense that's in this movie.
There's a lot of random slapsticky stuff that happens. Okay, so we open the movie with some of our precious bike footage, and there's these two biker dudes, this PJ and Wings, I was going to call him Goose. PJ and Goose. Yeah. Yes. They're kind of these BMX buddies, right? So we get a little bit of BMX footage. We're getting to
this entire city is full of BMX.
It's a great city. Which city in Australia is this? Is it? I don't even know.
It's Sydney.
It is Sydney. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Like that landscape is very nice.
Oh yeah.
So we meet them, and then we meet our bad guys who are bank robbers, right? That wear these weird pig face masks. Now, when they rob their bank, they're interesting. So they're getting ready in their shady white van to rob the bank. And instead of I was wondering, why is the getaway car parked so far away from the bank? Well, they're tricky guys. They drive the car through the bank window, right? That's how they rob it.
They drive a van. They're the least inconspicuous robbers.
Mm-hmm. They're very,
and I guess it was a stolen van,
right? And then they jump into another car, right?
They jump into a station wagon to get away. But you're right in that they wear pig masks, and one guy wears a wolf mask. And I was like, ooh, he must be the leader. Nope, not at all.
No.
Nope.
No, the leader's a really heavy-duty, mafia kind of guy or something, right?
He's like Australia's version of Chuck Norris.
That's a good call.
His mustache, his bad haircut. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, we find out that these bank robbers are pretty professional, right? Well, I guess, as far as...
Are they?
I don't know.
Are they?
They're getting put on this next big mission.
Yes.
I
love this. I love when the big bad guy is like, for the next mission, and he has to bring out little toy cars to show them that the car's going to go.
Terrible, yes.
That it's going to go into the back of a truck.
It's going to enter, the one car's going to enter the back of the truck, and he does an example with Matchbox cars.
That is the only explanation of this heist that we get.
But it's a big money heist. They can each get over $1 million if they can complete it, right? And now I don't even understand the heist. Is it walkie-talkies? It's these walkie-talkies that they need to get.
Oh, good. I'm glad I can explain this to you, because after I didn't understand 48 Hours, which was such a simple plot, I was like, I better really listen to this.
Yeah.
So their idea is that they need these walkie-talkies, which are tuned to the police frequency.
Right.
So that they can hear the police.
And now...
But the police can't hear them, which doesn't make any sense because the police hear everything.
Everything, yeah, which is another weird thing. There, too, the police station and the I guess the officers, the weird lady and her flirty boy and the chief in the police station, how weird were they as characters?
It was really weird. I loved when she just randomly was nibbling that guy's ear, and I'm like, what is going on at this police station?
And I like how, like, these criminals are on the loose, and these kids have these walkie-talkies because they can hear all these things that these kids are doing with these walkie-talkies. Well, we're not there yet. The cops are really, like, unaware. Like, all of a sudden they're like, oh, here it is. It's talking now. The walkie-talkies. I don't know. It's very...
I do have to... The bad guys perform this bank heist, which is pretty intense. It's like Point Break.
Oh, yeah. And they got the masks. Yeah.
They have shotguns. They're shooting shotguns in this bank that they just drove a car into. Mm-hmm. And we spend a decent amount of time with the police. Nothing about this bank robbery is ever mentioned.
No.
Never mentioned. Mm-mm. It makes me think that they filmed that scene later.
The bank robbery
to make these dudes seem tougher or more menacing than they were.
Or
because literally nobody ever talks about a bank being robbed, and we're in this police station a lot.
But the police station, that's what I'm saying, is the officers themselves, the chiefs, they're all kind of like a joke. Like,
they're all a joke.
So that's why...
These kids are the only ones that have it together.
Right. Now, how do they know... okay, wait, I'm just checking my notes. I want to make sure we didn't, miss
we're flying
anything.
through. I don't... Does it matter?
I mean, maybe. No, it doesn't really matter.
Well, no. We can talk about... I mean, there's a bank robbery and everything like that, but in the meantime, it does... This is when we do meet Nicole Kidman. And the kid they keep calling a fat kid, who's not a fat kid.
Wait. First of all, you're very fat sensitive. The kid they keep calling...
That kid's not fat.
Which kid? The BMX kid?
No. The BMX kid is wearing, like, snow pants.
Oh, the Angry Luigi? That's what I call him.
Yes. Yeah. They refer to him as a fat kid all the... I'm like, this kid is not fat, and he is wearing snow pants. Why is he wearing snow pants?
I don't know if it's BMX pants, maybe, or maybe he's
BMX pants.
I don't know, because they all have their own BMX outfits. In the car chase, when after the bank robbers rob the bank, and then there's a weird, there's a scene with the blow-up doll that is just random and strange, and a priest walking on the street, and they drive into the blow-up doll. No, the BMXers? Because the BMXers go on these adventures, right?
Right.
Too?
The BMXers are causing havoc.
Yes.
At the same time that the bank robbery is happening in the getaway, they're riding around and jumping their bikes, and everybody's disheveled.
Right.
And, like... Rubber dolls or mannequins fly in a priest's face?
And it's the moment lasts way too long. A woman
gets slapped in the butt, and then she thinks this dude next to her slapped her, so she calls him a pervert and hits him.
All of this happening while there's some kind of biking and run. It's very random. It's weird. Oh, and then Nicole Kidman, that's when we first see Nicole Kidman working at the grocery store.
Right.
With her cart job. She's returning the carts, and it's a mess. It's not easy.
Well, and that's where we meet the kid in the snow pants.
Yes.
He comes out like Francis from Pee-wee.
Yeah, very
it's
Francis.
My birthday. Yeah. My dad said, do you need money to buy a bike? She seems annoyed by this, but her job is getting grocery carts.
Yeah, like doing that
like a collector.
Run. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But her carts, he pushes her carts away, and their carts run into... So is that the only connection she has to them? Is she their friend from before?
She has never met them
That's
before.
That's what I thought. Life. And now they're going out on a boat together.
Instantly, they are BFFs, all of them.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was any earlier connection made. There's not.
Because the one kid, PJ, runs his bike into the carts, and it's all bent and broken. And they're walking away with her boss, who fires her.
Yeah, even though.
And they even say something like, "Well, we've never met her in our entire lives."
Yeah.
Suddenly, they're on a boat together.
Yeah, then there they go.
Oh, it goes on forever. Every line of dialogue from these kids is like a sitcom-esque setup to a punchline where I'm just like, can we stop?
I agree.
I must have rolled my eyes 1,000 times while watching this movie.
I know.
And these kids have no inflection in their voices either.
Well,
and they sound like they're 37 years old. These do not sound like teenagers. Are they supposed to be teenagers? They are.
I feel like they are teenagers. Yeah, I feel like that's what they are. Man. Yeah. Well, they get into some. So they're going. Are they going shelling? Is that where they're going? Fishing, shelling?
I think they're trying to steal like clams
from the side of the dock.
Something. They're trying to steal seafood.
Yeah.
Because then later on they're like, ooh, a lobster trap, and they because they want lobsters.
Yeah,
because they're going to sell them for enough money to fix the kid's bike,
right.
Get Nicole Kidman a bike, and build a BMX trap.
Oh yeah, that's their big dream.
And they're like, oh, I guess we'll steal some clams. That'll be enough money.
And lobster earned you a good $1, I guess. But instead...
Well, they're going to get $10.
Oh, did they say?
Australian, which I don't know what that is American, but like a track must cost tens of thousands
I
of
would
dollars.
assume so. Yeah. But they get it. I don't want to give anything away, but they get it in the end.
I wish they got it in the end. Meaning that the bad guys murdered these kids and then threw their corpses in the ocean.
Nope, we're not that lucky. No, but this is when the things get hot, though. So they stumble upon this box that is not filled with crabs or lobsters.
They just steal it.
It's just a box that they're like, this could be important. We're going to take it. And they do.
They go they find an abandoned boat and they steal the cargo from this boat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there could be drugs in there.
And they say that. I think they even say that. Like, they don't know what's in there. Meanwhile, our bad guys are in a hot red boat that's got like an airbrush, right? Mm-hmm. How crazy are they on their boat adventure? Because now they're going out to retrieve said box that these kids have already preemptively gotten. But, boy, are they spicy when they head out into the sea.
These two bad guys are like the main players in this movie. They really are.
And they're the worst. I think they're the worst. I enjoyed the kids more than I enjoyed the bad guys, I have to tell you.
How can you even choose? It was a different kind of awful.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way I could choose a favorite character or a least favorite character in this movie.
Did you like the Angry Luigi? Did you like Angry Luigi?
It was funny. I liked it when he bought 2 ice cream cones and then turned around and the kids drove by on the bikes and stole them. And then he yelled and then slipped in and fell into the other ice cream cone.
Oh, and he had it on his butt? Didn't he have the ice cream on his backside? Yeah.
But anyway, we should explain these two bad guys. Whitey.
And Mustache.
Because he has white hair.
I guess. Yep.
Right?
He does. He has white hair.
That's not their names. Like, they never referred to each other as Whitey and Mustache. Okay.
Not that I heard. I didn't know their names until I looked it up.
And then Mustache
has
like a John Waters-esque, like pencil-thin mustache. And he dresses so great. He wears...
Oh, yeah, he has a red suit on at one point,
He's got a red shirt. It's just primary colors. He's got a red shirt and a yellow tie and a blue jacket on over it, which actually matches all the kids' bikes and outfits, too.
The color coordination was spot on for wardrobe.
Spot on.
So know that if you're going into this.
Yeah, you know what? Whoever did wardrobe is the best person, or the best part of this
That's who you vote the best part.
Yep. Yeah, I want to find out who did wardrobe, and hopefully they got more work after this movie. Hopefully Nicole Kidman brought them on with her for the rest of her career.
Perhaps they did. Perhaps they did.
And she's like, listen, Stanley Kubrick, if I'm going to do Eyes Wide Shut, I'm bringing the wardrobe designer.
I need my BMX Bandit bitch. BMX. That's what I need. You're going to see. She's going to know just how we got to color coordinate here.
And as a protest, Stanley Kubrick was like, then nobody's wearing clothes in this movie. That's it.
So coordinate skin color. There you go.
I mean, I understand that everything plays out the way that it should because this is a movie, but they pass the kids. The kids are returning with this package on the water, and they're going by in their speedboat, and the kids are like, bitchin' boat, man.
Right,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
And instantly, these guys get to where their stash is, and 90% of this movie is ADR. Like, nobody's speaking on camera.
ADR.
It's terrible. Because they get there and they see that their stash is gone. And the one guy says to the other one, those kids took it. I'm like, why would you assume that?
Yeah, how did you know that? Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not like they're even, but they were just there. That's the only clue that he has, is they were just on that dock or whatever. But then they don't even know.
And everything in this movie is like that. Later on in the movie, the kids are on the bikes and they're like, boy, those guys were chasing us and now they're not here. But now that we want them to be here, where are they? And suddenly the car just pulls up and the guys jump out.
And that's when they take Nicole Kidman, kidnap her, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, this movie is just coincidences one after the other.
All lining up.
You know what? I do agree, because I was kind of bummed out that we had to spend so much time with these stupid villains.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back to when I first saw them on that boat, and I'm like, oh, these guys are such idiots and goofballs. And they're the movie. They're the entire movie.
Yeah. And they're just goofy, and they a little bit funny, I guess they try to be sometimes, but...
Yeah, I'm wondering if these guys are like Australians, like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis or something.
You think?
Like, if these guys have a career together.
I wondered if this movie was like Australia's first try at...
First try at what? Making movies? Like, oh, sorry.
We're new at this. We only push our
this.
bikes. We're new at that. I can't do it. I can't.
I love that they decided as a nation in 1983 to make a movie.
And they're going to start with a BMX movie. A BMX thriller.
But it did feel like a lot of those movies, like, once you get into the 90s, like, there are things like ninjas were like a thing in the 90s where it was like, oh, well, we'll just put ninjas, whatever. Kids will be ninjas and we'll make like 4 movies. But I don't know, was riding bikes like a thing?
Well, yeah.
Did that ever become a thing?
Yeah, I think that there was a certain culture and a certain people that BMX, that's what I'm saying. That's who I could see maybe having some nostalgia for this movie, because there was a BMX, I guess, craze. I mean, look, there.
Yeah, I guess.
But here's the thing: I don't even think that there was good BMXing.
I'm glad you said it, because that BMX was pedestrian at best.
Yes, it's not like they do anything that crazy. They do a couple of neat little handlebar tricks in the beginning, but like they don't really. They do a little. I think they do a little ramp stuff, but like. BMXers do crazy loop-de-loops and jump. Now, they do go down the stairs.
There was not a single flip in this movie.
Not a flip.
They never flipped on those bikes. And you're right. At the beginning, like, they ride the bikes backwards for 10 seconds. And they, like, stand on the seat.
Yeah, but you would think, like
kind of,
you know how, like, those dance movies that we watch, Break-In and stuff, like, there was definitely some moments where you're like, we're dancing. All right, we're dancing. Like, I wanted to see us BMXing, and that. Yeah,
this never happened. No. You're right. They ride down the steps, and
well, that's when they're trying to get away too. That's when they're being chased, so they kind of have to just renegade bike or whatever. But
yeah, it's pretty sad bike work.
Yeah.
I was pretty bummed out because every time they were on a chase, which was for half of this movie,
yes,
I was like, they're just riding bike, like they're just pedaling.
They're just fast. And so, like I said, very daunting. Like the music felt like it was like something scary was up ahead, and they're really just pedaling away from these silly, bad guys.
Yeah, menacing music, and then sound effects like boink.
Yeah,
like this doesn't go together. It's like a package of sound effects that they bought,
and they were like, "We're going to use them all." Yep. Let's not edit ourselves. Okay, so we did say that inside this box that they get, that now that their bad guys are wanting, are these walkie-talkies, right?
Sure.
Now the kids just need a fast dollar. So they start to now. I don't know how many came in the box. I want to say there was 6 because they start not giving them out. They start selling them, like they try to sell them to the Angry Luigi kid, right?
I love how he's Angry Luigi. But I like how they cut because they all split up. They're like, here's some radios for you.
Yeah.
Here's some radios for you. And then they split up.
You do a pretty good Australian,
Listen, I was really enjoying it when I was watching it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to say this in a bad Australian accent. And then today I was kind of trying, and I'm like, I can't do this.
You're better than you think.
I was inspired, though, when I was watching it. That's great, Jamie. But it is a really great scene when they split up to sell it, and you see like one of them sell it to a kid for $5, and then the other one sells it to another kid for $20, and I think Nicole Kidman gets like $35 from Angry Luigi.
Yeah.
So they didn't work out prices. They're like, I don't know, we'll just sell these to people.
Yeah.
And they really do. They just sell them to other kids. Mm-hmm. But you're right. Even if there are like 10 in this box. Mm-hmm. What are they getting? $200? Is that going to buy you a bike? Even?
Well, I guess and they have to buy a bike and repair another. Well, the other bike gets repaired. I don't.
All of this happens. Well, all of this happens like after they sell these radios. So whatever money they made must have been enough to repair the bike and to get Nicole Kidman a bike. Mm-hmm. Because we don't have 3 bikes in this movie.
In the beginning, no,
right? No, after the opening sequence, nobody BMXs until after a whole cemetery scene.
Yeah, that's true. They're on foot in the cemetery, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they're in a cemetery. And this is another part of the movie. Before they go in the cemetery, they're walking up the street at night, and a single car goes by, and the one guy freaks out, and he's like, that's them! Those the bad guys. They're looking for us. They're going to find us. And the car turns around, and it goes back. The bad guys are fighting about, are those the kids? I don't know. Right. You think those are the kids? Should we get out of the car? And I'm like, there's no one else in this town. It's infuriating.
It is very infuriating. It is. And like you said, then why do we run into is it because it's someplace good to hide because it has a high fence? Because the cemetery does
say that. They're like, who's going to follow us in here?
Yeah.
Like grown men are afraid of a cemetery.
Yeah. It is sort of a creepy. Well, Nicole Kidman gets a little creeped out at first, right?
Well, she does fall down an open grave. Who leaves an open grave?
Yeah, well, and who misses it? How do you just fall into it? How do you not see it?
Right. You're right. She falls in, and then I think the doofus, like Goose, I think he falls in too.
This is when they have their weird interaction. Like he kisses her very weirdly, though.
He moves real fast.
When awkwardly.
They met like 3 hours ago at her job, which they got her fired from.
Yep.
And he plants one on her in an open grave.
Now they're in a grave together, and he oddly plants one on her. Like they're having a conversation, and he's sort of they're both goofy, the 2 BMXers, but he's the goofier one, Goose, you would say.
And he's kind of lanky and awkward.
Right. And just he's like a...
He even says when she kisses him, or when he kisses her and she's not into it, he's like, oh, I get it. It's PJ, isn't it? I know. He looks like Mr. Universe, and I guess I'm just a big pile of poo.
But then, P.S., but then the walkie-talkie's on, and PJ hears it, right?
PJ hears the whole thing.
Because how many people have these walkie-talkies? They kept some too?
I do love what he says, though. I thought this was kind of funny when he radios him back, because I'm like, oh, if you're listening to this, you're not going to say anything. You're just going to pretend you didn't hear anything. But he goes, hey, can you guys hear me? Because I can totally hear you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Totally hear you.
And we forgot to mention, the bad guys decide that they don't want to be recognized.
Oh, they cover their faces again. Yeah.
But they put on monster masks.
Yeah, goblin faces of some kind, yeah. Because they're in the cemetery, maybe, and they have options? Who knew that they had options?
They have masks for every occasion.
Oh, we also forgot to mention that in the meantime, while the kids are having their conversations over the walkie-talkie airwaves, the cops are also listening and getting weirdly kind of turned on by the kids talking.
Yeah. So there's the chief, who's the older cop.
Yeah.
And then there's a young man and a young woman.
Yeah.
And they're listening to these kids kiss once and talk about who likes who. Mm-hmm. And she, like, starts licking his ear in the police station. It's so weird. And this is when she listens to them talk and she's like, PJ, Goose.
Oh, yeah.
These kids are BMX bikers. And I'm like, what are you talking about, lady?
How did you figure that out? Yeah.
Why did you jump to this conclusion? And then I was like, oh, she must know these kids. Nope. Because then they say, we talked to 12 BMX bikers today. It wasn't any of them. And then I was thinking, oh, that's a lot of BMX kids to talk to until the end of the movie.
Until you see the army of BMX kids. Yeah. The whole town, practically. That's why they need a park so bad. Why do you think they need the ramp and all that? So they have this weird cemetery run, right? There's a storm that comes. Is that why they leave the cemetery? Because it starts to get stormy out, right?
I don't know why they leave. I don't know how they get out of that grave because they're down really low.
Yeah, yeah.
Nicole Kidman at one point even tries to jump out. I'm like,
and she can't. Yeah,
she can't even reach the top.
Mm-mm. Well, somehow they do get out. I don't remember how either. Then the bad guys try to come out with their car. Aren't their tires slashed on their car? They have flat tires.
Yeah,
get very
PJ
far.
let the air out of the tires of their car.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And then we got some money, right? So Kidman's got a new bike.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. The next day.
I like, this is the one, she says the line, I don't know what they're going to do, but she tells them 2's a company, 3 gets us talked about. Because they're going to do things in 3. They're a group of 3. They're going to hang out.
They're randy kids.
Yeah.
These hooligans.
They don't even seem that, except for the BMXing. They don't seem that dangerous.
No, they're not. Say. I mean, although they are breaking the law by stealing fish.
Well, they didn't steal fish. They stole walkie-talkies.
No, but I mean, they're out there to steal seafood that other people caught.
True, but they're more like, I mean...
No, they're not rough, tough kids.
Yes,
right. This is a tough movie to talk about because I don't care about any of this.
No, well, you don't. There's another chunk of walkie-talkie stuff that happens, I feel like, where they sell some more.
Did you...
The cops can't... No, go ahead.
Can we rewind for a second?
Please.
And go back to when Nicole Kidman does her stunt riding?
Oh, yeah. Did
you listen to that song?
Oh, yes, I wrote it down. But the boys.
I love boys. Boys are the best. Boys. Yeah. Me and the boys.
Our boys song plays. Yeah. Boys. It's boys and boys and boys. Because now she's got her 2 boys that she's got her bike and now they can all hang out.
And you do watch a man in a Nicole Kidman wig do these tricks. And these, PJ and Goose are amazed by this.
Yeah, all she needed was a bike. We didn't even know that she had all these skills. Did she even know she had
could ride a bike?
No. Now she's got her bike and now they're all looking for their dream bike park, right?
That's what I was wondering because I'm like, well, wait. How did she know she could ride a bike if she never had a bike?
Maybe I don't know if she says that at some point.
Like to angry Luigi, maybe at the beginning.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe she was working to save money for a bike. Maybe that was her whole, why she had the grocery cart gig. I don't know. But
she's a natural.
She's very good. She's very good. And
you keep saying stuff like there's more walkie-talkie stuff. Apparently they didn't sell them all and there must be more.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Mm-hmm.
Because they tell her to go to the shed where they store these things. I guess kept them. And they're like, go to the shed and get more walkie-talkies to sell because Angry Luigi wants more.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. These bad guys overhear this, I guess, on a radio of their own.
Because how did they get one?
I don't know. And how do they know what the shed is? Because they drive right there.
Yeah, that's right. And that's right. And they pretend to be cops, don't they? They pretend that they're
It's the smartest thing these guys do. It really is. It's the smartest thing these two idiots do is play cops. Because they kind of, this is where the guy does wear the jacket and it kind of looks like a cop.
Well, I don't know. That mustache kind of tells me like,
well,
and that
you're
hair.
Like a weird, I mean, if you're like a weird sex pervert cop.
And I think she even says like, you don't look like cops. And they kind of look very creepy cops.
Right. They're like, they look like, she found us out. What do we do?
Yes, exactly.
Can't you sell this more?
Say you're a cop.
And I love how they're talking to her, and then they like have this sidebar. And
yes.
Like, I know what we could do. We could drown her. And I'm like, what is going on? She's right there. She can hear you guys.
Now, she has no weapons, right? But she does have a walkie with her. No. Does she lose her walkie? Oh, wait. This is when her walkie is on.
Oh, please, yes.
What are the boys doing? They're at the beach?
They're
right?
like fixing their bikes, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're listening to a terrible song, and only we, the audience, can hear the walkie-talkie.
Right. They have no idea. They're not checking on the walkie-talkie. Nope. They're just busy getting their bikes repaired, I guess. And she is being kind of manipulated and then abducted by these.
That one guy, the mustache guy, he wants to beat her senses. He even says something like, I want to beat the hell out of this girl. And Whitey has to calm him down like, we can't do that. And that's what he says, we'll drown her instead. We have to make it look like an accident. Right. He even says, we can't leave bruises.
That's right.
It's probably the only moment this movie gets really dark.
Yeah.
But it's just for a moment.
It's just for the moment, right? When they're trying to figure out what will happen.
The cops are listening to
Yeah, that's right. The cops can hear it all, and they're not doing anything about it. That's what I mean by how lousy
they're just listening.
This department is. Yeah, at least they're not getting turned on now. They're just listening and I think kind of mocking.
Mocking this teenager's impending murder.
She does hit them, though, doesn't she? Doesn't she have a fight with them?
She hits them and gets away, and there's a chase.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the other two finally...
this is when she gets in the rowboat that's still attached to the dock.
Yep. But before this, there's more slapstick nonsense that makes no sense. Because Goose and PJ, this is when they come to and they realize, oh no, she's in trouble.
Right.
So they're yelling at her through the walkie-talkie. Mm-hmm. She's yelling back. This is when we see that this police frequency, this secret police frequency, is also picked up by every construction guy around.
Oh, that's right.
Because the guy, it's like a guy and he has a crane with a huge girder on it.
Yeah.
And the boss is like, when I say now, drop it. And the kids are screaming now into these walkie-talkies.
And then there it goes. And then it messes up this whole construction site. A guy's truck is demolished.
They pull a house down early.
Oh, that's right.
They wreck a house, which I assume the people weren't out of yet.
Yeah. Tragedy in that house. This movie is so random.
It's so bad. Like, it's so bad. It's just these little snippets written, these goofball little snippets. And then they're somehow threaded into a movie about BMX bikes.
And...
Well, this is where the chubby kid has his ice cream stolen.
Oh, yeah, he does have his ice cream stolen. He chases the kids for the ice cream.
And all the other kids, there's a bunch of younger kids near him. And when he falls in the ice cream, they just laugh at him. They just laugh and they point and laugh. And and he walks over and steals the one kid's bike.
Yeah.
To go chase them. And then he gets a mouthful of sand because he keeps crashing into things like a mattress.
Oh, yeah.
Two dudes are moving a mattress.
Again, weird, slapsticky. What are we doing? Why are we following Bad Luigi? Why?
I don't... why is this kid in this movie?
I don't know.
He's not a villain.
And why do they dress him like an Oompa Loompa? Why?
I don't know. I don't understand. Why is he riding a bike in snow pants in Australia? It has to be like 90 degrees.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, and why then? So when the guys come to rescue her, Nicole, right? Because now she needs rescuing.
Well, she runs around like a dock and she like hides in a houseboat or something. And
right.
They find her.
Well, don't they come with a fire extinguisher? Isn't that one of the weapons?
Yeah, you're right. She jumps on a little rowboat and gets away. And I love it how she's like 8 feet off the dock, and the two bad guys are like, what are we gonna do? She's getting away very slowly.
We've got no resource. Where's our bike that's so nicely airbrushed? Or our boat, rather.
But she is tied to the dock, and she kind of gives up. Like, she doesn't even jump out and start swimming or something. But you're right. This is when her friends show up with a fire extinguisher. The bad guys fall into the water. They throw boxes at them, too.
Yeah, that's random,
like
too.
Wooden boxes that are just breaking. And then as the guys get out, and this is one of those great lines that are just ADR'd as they're getting out, and the one guy like has a box around his head, all you hear is one of them go, "Where did this box come from?" And I'm like, you just saw those kids throwing them at you. You were in the water. Oh, this movie's so terrible.
Well, then it gets... Now is when they go to the water park. We don't know why they run through a water park, but they do, and they take their
We
bikes.
rented this water park. We're going to use it. But this is a movie about bikes. I don't care.
They go down the bike, the swirly splash, like a slide. They go down with their bikes.
How? Jamie, I have a hard enough time putting a bike in a car. How big are these slides?
If you notice...
it is a tunnel. It's not an open slide. This is a tunnel, and they jump down in their bikes.
Yep. And then there's a lot of footage of them just going down the slide. Down the slide with the bike.
And then the two bad guys go down the
They
slides.
get pushed in,
them.
though. Don't they get pushed in, the bad guys, by a chubby kid?
A chubby kid pushes the one and then just walks away. Like, I thought he wanted to go down, but he just walks away. And the guy yells, "I hate falling," when the kid pushes.
Oh, yeah. I wrote that down too. I hate falling.
So bad.
And then they're like, so he's soaking wet. It's just the one guy. I think it's just mustache that's soaking wet when he's back to the car, and he's like animated, angry, silly, like
he's
like
growling.
Because he's all wet. He doesn't want to be.
Yeah, he growls and snorts, and then, oh man, it's so bad. And then another joke is that Whitey doesn't know how to drive a car. He's constantly like, running into things, and he can,
because then they do donuts when they try to pull out from the water slide place. That's right.
And these kids ride everywhere. They ride through a rugby game. They ride through a guy pushing like a rack of like 3 dresses.
Yeah, they go through the mall, through the food court in the mall.
Bookstore. They ride down an escalator. It's a restaurant. It's so awful.
It just doesn't stop. You're like, the fountain. There's a BMX baby. There's a baby that watches them, and it goes, wow.
Oh.
Remember?
I mean, not a baby. It's like a little kid.
Oh.
Sorry, when you said baby, I like a baby with a pacifier. It's a kid with a weird, like, blonde bowl haircut.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is a point where the bad guys are chasing them, and Mustache, who I think he's a little bit better than the other guy, he runs by a sign that's being carried by these 2 dudes, and the sign just says "fun" in big letters, and he runs past it and then turns around and goes, and just punches a hole in this sign for no reason, and then continues running.
Well, the bad guys are against fun, that'll tell you that. We forgot to mention that their life is at stake. If they don't get those walkie-talkies, if their mission isn't complete, big boss man is going to kill them, right?
Yep. Yeah, Australian Chuck Norris threatens them with a shotgun.
So things are going to get bad if they can't get things together here. But we still have more just car chasing and bike riding to do through a neighborhood, through an airport hangar, I think.
The airport hangar. You're right. They just drive in circles.
And that's when the bikes make weird noises when they go in the circles. It's like...
Jamie, when you say that's when the bikes... Anytime these bikes leave the ground, we hear laser sounds. Like... Like, why do you need these goofy sounds?
Oh my god.
Well, it comes to a head at a quarry where the bad guys drive and hit like 800
barrels. Yeah. It's bad driving by the bad guys, but we've already established they're not... This is what, okay, so again, I watched this movie in 2 parts, and I watched the second part, and I
now,
really
is this the second part?
Yeah, I started the second part. I shut it off when they went down the water slide. I was like, I can't do this. And we're going to pick this back up tomorrow, because all that, like, footage and the downhill, I was like, I was getting nauseous. But this is now me thoroughly, like, when you watch the first half, you're like, maybe we're getting somewhere, and I'm like, we go nowhere with this. Where are we really going? So I'm you could see my notes are actually angry notes. Like, I'm so angry that I have to watch this and that I have to finish watching this.
The kids get away. That's it. The bad guys can't catch them. They're stupid. At the end, they do like improv arguing, which doesn't go anywhere.
No.
And just like, turn off the camera. These guys are terrible.
Don't just leave
let them do this. This is though where another great cutscene is the cops confront Angry Luigi.
Yeah.
And Angry Luigi's like, I know who gave me these. Oh, I can't even do an Angry Luigi Australian accent.
No, you gotta try.
But he says like, oh, I know. I can't even do it. But so he doesn't know, or he tells the cops that he knows who gave them these.
Right.
And it is a smash cut to these kids are already in the police station.
Oh, yeah, they're already, that's right. How did they get arrested so quickly? I guess we just had to move it along, right? Move it along.
I guess.
But then they're not really arrested, right?
They're
just,
but
he kind of slaps him on the wrist. The cop says...
No, it's not even that, because he's like, somebody has to pay for all these shenanigans and all that damage and destruction. And I'm like, you're going to blame these kids for that? They're being chased by
and not
murderers.
The bank robbers? Yeah.
And they want to pin this on these kids for the mall being destroyed, I guess.
Oh, I guess. For the antics of the BMX riding through the mall, I guess. I don't know.
Again, no mention of a bank being robbed by maniacs in masks with shotguns.
Nope.
None of that is talked about in this police station. But the kids do say that or PJ has a plan. He's like, I have a plan to catch these guys, and the cops want none of it. They're like, no, just get out of here.
Right.
Whatever, we'll find them.
Just promise you're not going to do anything bad, and
But he does have a plan.
He does.
It involves a BMX summit?
I guess, like the whole crew of BMXers. I want to say, well, it's not worldwide, but I want to say throughout the city.
Every kid in this city has like a helmet, an outfit, a bike, certainly.
They're ready. They come too. There's a trumpet sound. And isn't there a sound of a trumpet that kind of lets them, like, leads them in? Because here they come, right?
And I guess PJ made a plan in advance, I guess, because he's even like, you guys all got your weapons? You know what we're going to do?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
This has been mapped out.
Yeah. How did you make these plans? How did you get a hold of these kids?
Where did all these other kids come from?
Why did
There's
you
not
decide
even
to
a
meet
park?
where you did? Yeah. Right. No. None of this makes sense.
No, it feels very, and again, I thought the movie was over at this point. I thought, okay, the bad guys and they were not, but I know, but still, I was like, do we need this? But I guess we do.
I think one thing that I failed to mention, and I don't want to say that there are important parts to this movie, but when Nicole Kidman and that lanky weirdo are in that open grave, he does tell her the plot of a horror movie that he saw. And he keeps talking about it. He keeps talking about it.
And it freaks her out.
Bad dialogue because she keeps saying things like, I'm scared. And he must say, it's all right. I'm here with you. He says that like 5 times in a row to her.
Yes, almost like, I agree. Very, very date rapey.
Almost like he just did not know his lines.
Yeah.
That's the only one he's got. And he's like, I don't know, maybe I can say it a different way this second time, and the third time, and the fourth time. Maybe I'll say it just like I did the first time. Nobody will notice. And the director was totally fine with it.
He just went with it. He was like, whatever. I don't even know what I'm doing with this movie anymore. You're not even really BMXers.
Yeah, couldn't they just have hired some kids that could ride bikes really well to play these roles? It's not a demanding role.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's like when they hire people who are really good at, like, martial arts.
But see, were these big actors in Australia?
Boy, I mean, I don't know if we want to beat up Australia for this movie.
No, but
I'm not sure it's their fault.
No, I'm saying, were these two guys, were they good, were they, like, popular Australian actors, maybe?
They can't be, because...
There's no way.
I mean... Whitey and Mustache are top billed in this
I guess
movie.
That's true,
Nicole Kidman's third.
Yeah.
These kids, who I believe are the heroes of the film,
Yeah.
are fourth and fifth billed.
The weird heroes, because so now the plan had to do with returning the empty box to the bad guys, right? Without the walkie-talkies in it.
You're right, yes, which they tie up with wire.
So tricky. And then there's the powder fight that happens where the...
Well, hold on.
Sorry, I did skip ahead.
A lot of stuff.
I did skip ahead, sorry. Well, I'm trying to just get
we're at the end of this movie, and I'm trying so hard not to say the end, everybody. Done. Our podcast is 48 minutes long.
She gets kidnapped again.
She gets kidnapped. The bad guys jump out of the car and hold them at knife point in broad daylight. I mean, they're right on the beach.
Yeah,
and they kidnap a teenage girl.
Yeah, just take her. The girl that was just being followed by the police were just, she had walkies. They were,
And they also take the box of quote-unquote walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
And then they speed away. They just drive away. And I was like, is this these kids' plan? Is
this all we got? Yeah. To get her gone? They're like, we don't need the chick anymore.
Right.
Just get her out of here any way you can.
Oh, I did notice that this is when Nicole Kidman, when she's in the car with them and the one guy's frantically trying to open this box, she starts telling them a plot synopsis of a movie, too.
Well, yeah, she starts telling them this weird, similar,
them
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because she knows there's a plan ahead, so she's not, because she doesn't seem all that scared.
No, she's not scared at all. No. These men said that they were going to drown her, and they brought her into the car, and they have knives.
Yeah, and she doesn't seem to be, at least, she starts telling this horror story.
Oh, yeah. And this is when the evil Australian Chuck Norris is like, oh, man, kids and their parents. What do these parents let these kids watch? And at this point in the movie, I was like, oh, my God, we're an hour, 20 minutes in. Nobody's talked about a parent in this movie.
Yeah, we don't even know. I thought these kids lived on the streets. Yeah.
No idea. This is when the best line of the movie is uttered. One of the bad guys goes, "You're right in the poo now, sister." Nobody curses in this movie at all.
Oh, you're right in the poo.
But you're right. They get away in a truck. Her BMX
They are on
buddies,
top of the truck, right, at a certain point,
yes.
doing some moves and getting free. And
the truck crashes into bubbles?
A big bubble thing. Yeah. Yes, a big soapy, park. A big park of, bubbles.
I don't
it's
understand.
very weird.
I don't get it. And then they are accosted by hundreds of BMX kids.
Then that's when all the BMXers just come
and start throwing flour.
I don't know if that's a commentary on. I don't know. Powder.
And
everywhere.
They're slipping and they're
foam,
sliding.
Yeah.
And this is old timey saloon piano
isn't
music.
The 20s music? Yeah. And then the cops show up, and then the next thing we know, we've got that fun bike park and. All is happy.
Freeze frame on our three heroes. You okay? You all right? I mean, we made it through.
Whew. I never want to do that again. That movie.
Was so bad. That movie was so bad.
Not my... So, I guess that's how we feel about it, right?
Yeah.
You're not hiding
through, what our final... It's just... It's tough to watch a movie like this now.
Yeah.
And understand how you could get enjoyment out of it, even if you're a stupid kid.
Yeah.
But I guess you could.
Well, like I said, I guess if you were into the biking thing, or really into, I don't know. It was terrible, though. It was so terrible.
It was hard to watch.
Yeah.
It was just, the biking was not interesting.
The scenes lasted way longer than they needed to.
The characters had no, other than the fact that one is blonde and one is brunette, there is no difference between PJ and Goose at all. And there's no difference between Whitey and Mustache at all.
There was no depth to it. I guess not that you expected much depth to a BMX Bandit movie. But
Nicole Kidman was a girl. That was her character.
It was
trait.
all confusing too. Like what? So these walkie-talkies, and they're precious because why? Because only cops can, but then the construction workers can, and then how many of them are there? And are just
I don't understand the connection between walkie-talkies and a car driving into the back of a truck.
And like you said, well, yes. How was that the example of what they have to do? And how are these walkie-talkies worth? Wow.
And they seem to be very successful bank robbers. Why don't they just keep doing what they're doing? Just driving cars through the front of banks is working out really well for you guys.
Is that because the police force is so stupid or so like behind? I don't know. What do you recommend? Did you go the Nicole Kidman route? What did you do for your recommendation?
I thought about it. I'm going to recommend a good Australian movie called Picnic at Hanging Rock.
Oh.
And it's from 1975. It's a movie about like a bunch of girls at like an Australian boarding school.
Oh.
Like at the turn of the century, like 1900. And it's like it's all soft focus and ethereal, and like 3 of the girls go missing.